What's going on, guys? This is Tyler back again with another video, and today we're going to be revealing some breaking news from PSA, revealing one of their new grading specials that they have recently announced, as well as PSA is raising money for future acquisitions. So let's jump into that news story first, and then we'll talk about the grading special. So looking at Darren Ravel's tweet earlier today, Collectors Holding, the parent of PSA Card, has closed a $125 million revolving line of credit to help them greater invest in the future. The company is opening new grading facilities in New Jersey and Tokyo. It's my understanding that the New Jersey facility is already open, but yes, the Tokyo facility is announced to open this year. We do have an article from Sports Collectors Digest. So PSA Golden parent company adds $125 million in funding. This is already a very cash-rich company. We're going to talk about that here in a second, but let's take a look at the article. So Collectors, parent company of PSA and Golden, has picked up a $125 million revolving line of credit to help with its expansion efforts. The line of credit was secured with a syndicate co-led by JP Morgan and Key Bank Capital Markets Inc. with participation by California Bank and Trust, a bunch of rich people that just want to make a bunch of money, sounds like. The move further strengthens Collectors' position in the sports collectibles market, providing it with greater flexibility to pursue new growth opportunities and execute its strategic vision. At Collectors, we have an ambitious vision to serve collectors around the globe, said CEO Jason Herenstein, who I haven't really heard a lot of recently, but he is over the mothership over at Collectors as the CEO. While our profitable business and cash reserves already give us significant flexibility to invest in new opportunities, let's talk about that, such as our brand new grading facility slated to open in Tokyo, Japan this year, so they confirmed that. This new credit line will enable us to be even more aggressive when we see opportunities to accelerate the achievement of our vision. We are grateful for the support and confidence in our business. So let's expand that, unpack that just really quickly. So yes, PSA is a very, very profitable business. Collectors as a whole is a very, very profitable business. If we take a look at what PSA or Collectors has done under the umbrella Collectors, they have PSA historically. They have PCGS, which does coins and currency. Then recently, after acquisition from Nat Turner, they ended up absorbing WADA, the video game authentication company, so 3 grading companies, and then also Golden Auction. So they also want to compete in the marketplace directly with eBay, directly with PWCC, directly with all the auction houses. They want to steal a piece of the transaction pie, regardless if the market is going up or down. They want a piece of the action because it doesn't matter if the market's hot or not, they're still going to get a consistent transaction fee. So Collectors views themselves as a holistic authentication and grading company where they're not only authenticating collectibles in every single niche, they are also collecting a transaction fee and competing directly with eBay and all those companies previously mentioned, because that is another major source of revenue. So they view themselves as a very cash-rich company. If we take a look at historically how well PSA and Collectors Universe did. Collectors Universe was a publicly traded company previously. So up until 2020, you can actually find their financial documents and filings with the SEC online. They are still public, and I believe they will be public forever. But if you go back and look through those financial statements, currency and coins through PCGS used to be the main revenue driver. Now that changed up through 2020 with the explosions of sports cards. So with the explosion of sports cards, that became roughly a 50-50 revenue split. But PSA was a very profitable company back then. I highly encourage everyone to look through their financial documents. It is very enlightening in terms of how profitable and how much revenue that company generates, as well as some of their expenses, including some litigation payouts, which aren't necessarily put out there into the public. Now, if we look at what their business has done since then, back in 2019 and 2020, grading was relatively cheap. We're talking sub $10 grading right around 2020, maybe $10, $12 grading. Long backlog, but still $12 grading. Fees have effectively doubled in 2023 whenever we're looking at the marketplace now, fast forwarding 3 years later. And also their volume has at least quadrupled since then as it relates to sports cards only. So that business has essentially 8x, if not 10x. going compared to their 2020 financial documents. So that's looking at sports cards alone. I'm sure they've had growth in their coins and currency. There are also net new revenue streams through WADA. There's net new revenue streams through Golden Auctions. PSA is in a very profitable, cash-rich business, as mentioned here by Jason Herenstein. I'm sure he is getting bonuses out the wazoo, as is every leader over at Collectors, because they're just making it rain out there. I mean, we know that Golden is making it rain. He lets us know about it, right? But they're definitely making it rain. So I think it's interesting that they are going after $125 million in another line of credit, because it makes me wonder, what else out there are they going after? Are there other collectible spaces that I have in my brain that I could see PSA going after, or maybe they want to start in-house on their own? Makes me wonder. More to come on that. The Collectors team has built best-in-class business leading the path forward in the collectible segment, said John DiCarlo, Executive Director of Technology and Disruptive Commerce. Middle Market Banking and... what a title. Middle Market Banking and Specialized Industries at JP Morgan. Look at this guy's title. Such a long title. Wow, how do you get that? We're excited to help Collectors execute its strategic initiatives and fuel its next stage of growth. The rest of this is just a bunch of gibberish from 3 companies that want to make a lot of money. Venture capitalists and banks. All right, Collectors in PSA has offices in LA, New York, Seattle, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Tokyo, and Paris. It also owns PCGS, Coins and Currency, and Iwata, video games and pop culture, grading companies, as well as online collectibles marketplace and auction house Golden. All right, so now we're going to jump over into the sports card special. So, making moves over to the sports card special, we have had some specials previously. Just to give some historical context, going back to 2022, it's going to be a couple of minutes. I'm going to go through this. If you want to fast forward, you're more than welcome to. Starting in January of 2022, the only services, the lowest level of services was open was economy, and you could only submit economy if you had vouchers. Remember, you had countdowns, you had signups, you had lotteries to get vouchers to allow you to submit roughly 5 cards, 20 cards, 50 cards through economy. Then as we got into the late spring, early summer, that slowly opened up to where we could submit bulk at $30 per card. Once we got in June, July, that dropped down to roughly $22 per card, maybe a little bit less, I can't remember. Then it dropped to $18 per card, and then boom, we got specials at $15 per card to close out the year for roughly 2 months. So it was great. Everyone was getting used to it. I was getting used to it. So if you're a bulk submitter, you thought 15 was here to stay. We had not seen price increases, but guess what? PSA threw us a curveball. If anyone saw my video to open the year, I was very much so displeased that PSA increased their prices from $15 to $19 per card. But unfortunately, gem rate data says that that was actually the right move, because as you know, PSA does not care about making me happy. They don't care about making you happy. They care about making themselves happy, and they only do that by getting fat and happy, aka a lot of submission volume and a lot of money headed to their way. They don't care if we make money, they want to make money, and they do that by charging higher prices, and it doesn't matter because they're still getting the submission volume. So PSA closed out the year at $1 million or 1 million cards per month. You can see here we are in March. We're at 1,224 cards. So we have a 20% volume improvement. Now, if we break that out, you can take a look. The biggest part of that is going to be TCG. So TCG did have some specials this year, as did Vintage. So Vintage had some specials as well. Vintage specials were only for a month, so we only had that for a month, but that was short-lived. TCG just kept going, and we also had some other specials as it relates to Super Express, $100 per card, dual service, etc. That's something that I did not necessarily take advantage of. I didn't think it was necessarily worth it. But they have had some specials, so it's really hard to say that all of this was at $19 per card. A lot of this was at $15 for TCG, which is making up roughly 35-40% of the volume for PSA, according to gem rate. So if we fast forward over to our little PSA specials, we can see exactly what we are going to be coming up with. So again, we had TCG at 503,000 cards over the last 30 days. Again, that is significant volume. Now we're going to be looking to see what types of specials we get for sports. So these are the 2 specials. Let's start here at the bottom. I believe this may be a continuation. Super Express special, $100 off per card grading, or $130 off for the dual service. So we can take a look at that. I think that essentially means that these, instead of being $300 per card, they're now $200 per card, if I'm not mistaken. We can take a look in here and see, yep, $200 for Super Express and then $260 for the dual. I'm not using that. It's not worth it. $200 out of $2,500. That is a significant chunk of the grading fee. We're talking about 8% of the card's value is being tied up in grading the card. Completely not worth it. Completely not worth it. All right, we jump up to the top. 2022 and 2023 sports card special. They're very clear. It's not TCG, it is sports card. So what is included? 2022 and 2023 declared value limit up to $299 at $16 per card. We know right now you can submit at $19 per card up to $499 declared value. No specials whatsoever, or maybe it's like you have to have a bulk special for years 80 something or whatever forward. So this special, $3 card savings per card, but they dropped the declared value from $499 down to $299. Now, some people are a little bit upset with that because the declared value dropped significantly larger compared to the actual cost to get the card graded. But if we really think about this, $16 per card is right in line with historical averages and ratios of what they used to have. So card grading used to be $5, $6 with PSA for a $99 declared value. So that's basically 5 to 6% of the value of that card up to $99 basically was wrapped up in the PSA grading fee. This is essentially right in line with that in terms of the upper limit of the declared value. So I'm not too upset with that. I am a little bit upset with the price of $16. That's just not an incentive whatsoever in terms of getting me to submit cards to them. So includes regular and small size cards, got to be a member, and then 40 business day turnaround. That's essentially 2 months. Each month has roughly 20, 21, 22 business days, including weekends, holidays, etc. So we're looking at about a 2-month turnaround time. Current state right now, we are beating that. Depends on what you submit. Vintage orders are taking 3 months. If you have any small error in your order, or if the person checking in the order says, hey, don't like this order, sets it to the side, can take 5-6 months. Had that happen to me numerous times. You all saw all the videos. Unfortunately, PSA is very inconsistent as it relates to turnaround times. And also quality and also grading. 40% gem rate, 70% gem rate, 80% gem rate, 29% gem rate. Just depends on what grader you get. Okay, so what is good about this special and what is bad? Well, there's really not much good. If you're already going to be submitting cards that include this mix, okay, it makes sense for you to continue to submit as usual. You get to save $3 per card. The bad about this is, let's look at some of the exclusions. So it does not include 2021 to 2022 basketball. That is the year basketball, not 2022 basketball as in Polo Banchero's 2022-2023 year. So that is just one point of clarification. I was a little bit confused on that in the beginning. And also hockey cards. So some years of basketball and hockey are impacted. Doesn't bother me whatsoever. I would not submit any of that junk anyway. There's no one of interest to submit. Most of that stuff is mass-produced garbage. The bad also is it does not include anything before those years. So if you have Shohei Ohtani rookies, if you have Aaron Judge rookies, if you have anyone else in the mass-produced junk era, you can't submit those because they are focusing exclusively on new cards. 2022-2023 basketball, 2022-2023 hockey, which there's not a lot of product for either one of those out there. We're talking about Panini, Donruss, Hoops, Donruss Elite, and then a couple Upper Deck sets. That's it. It does not necessarily impact baseball negatively or football, but as it relates to baseball, 2022, we had plenty of time to submit Julio Rodriguez, Wander Franco, and then also Bobby Witt Jr. at $15 per card. So why is this going to necessarily prompt us to submit more volume? It's not. If we wanted to submit those cards, we already would have done it. Now, yes, there's new sets that are out now, but guess what? That has long since gone as an opportunity. You are in a crowded marketplace if you are now submitting those cards out, especially if it's base cards. Now I get it if there's serial numbers and refractors and stuff like that. Sure, by all means submit those. Base cards, volume cards, not gonna happen. Those are money losers, so don't do it. I've done enough of them. I'm clearing out my inventory. I don't want those cards in my inventory whatsoever. This is not going to drum up business. If it does drum up business, it's drumming up business that is going to be an ROI negative. All right, let's talk about baseball. So this looks like it's also directly competing with 2023 Topps baseball promo that SGC offered that was $9 per card. I thought that was a great special by SGC. I did not partake in that because I don't see any card worth submitting for $9 to SGC from 2023 Topps. The rookies are awful. The only thing we're submitting would be perhaps a Shohei Ohtani rare variation parallel autograph, Mike Trout parallel autograph. That's it. Man, I have no idea why people are using that. If you held out and did not submit and take advantage of the SGC to be first to market, you may be first to market here as it relates to PSA. So maybe if you have something really quick you want to submit out there, maybe a rare variation, it may make sense to do that. But in terms of base cards, this is a losing proposition. This is not 2018 where you can submit Topps update Juan Soto, Ronald Acuna Jr., Shohei Ohtani's at $5, $6, $7 per card, get them back and sell the base cards for 25, 30 bucks and squeeze out a small profit. You cannot do that with this. These players are not of that caliber. $16 per card is going to be an ROI break even or worse as it relates to base cards only. Now, sure, if you have some rare variations, may make sense to submit some of those, but again, this is not going to be a volume driver. This is not something that is going to be prompting me to be chomping at the bit to submit cards to them. Now, one thing that this could potentially help, because a lot of these cards were likely going to be going to PSA at $19 anyway, are going to be some of the speculative quarterbacks from the last couple of classes, specifically the only class that we can submit, which is 2022 football. So, Prism just released, Contenders just released. This special is going to allow those to submit some of those parallels that were already likely slated for $19. So I can see a bunch of Brock Purdy's and Kenny Pickett's being put into this. I'm spitting everywhere because my nose is completely stopped up right now. So apologies if you see a waterfall. I think that's a great play. Also, it's going to be great to submit Patrick Mahomes 2022 cards, Tom Brady 2022 cards. Totally get that. Can't do Trevor Lawrence rookies, can't do Joe Burrow, can't do Justin Herbert. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. So again, this really limits the volume. The incentive is low. The volume anticipated to generate is low. In fact, this is not going to motivate me to submit anything that I was on the fence about. I'm only going to submit cards that were otherwise slated for a $19 order now for $16 and save a little bit of money. So it's not really that big of a deal to me. Overall, I rate both of these specials basically a 4 out of 10. These are failing grades to me. These are not specials. These are, hey, let's throw a special out there just so that we have one because people are expecting you to have something. This is kind of a baloney offering on PSA's part, but guess what? They don't really need to make any specials because they're doing pretty good as it relates to grading. Now, granted, a lot of this TCG volume likely came from specials. So that's probably where this is coming from. So it's interesting to see, according to GemRate, what this data is going to look like as we go forward the next couple of weeks. Is this going to begin trailing off? If we look at the past 7 days, we're pretty consistent. Their slice of the pie is the exact same, 7 days, 30 days, etc. If we go to prior day, it's even bigger. So we got to wait for them to go through all that TCG special stuff before we really get a deep understanding of how this special is going to impact sports cards. I predict it's not going to impact it that much, but we should see sports take over a bigger piece of the pie naturally as TCG stuff clears through due to the special that they had. So that's my take on this. Let me know what you all think down below. I'm not too happy about it. We'll see you next time.